And welcome back to more Pikmin! So last time, we collected the final ship part at the impact site and raised a ton of Pikmin while we were there. So this time, we are returning to the Forest Navel. So our goal for today is to collect 3 of the remaining 5 ship parts here, and then spend the rest of the day clearing the way to those ship parts because in my opinion, these are some of the toughest enemies to fight, for very different reasons actually. Alright, but today shouldn't be too terrible. We need 20 yellow Pikmin, 40 blue Pikmin, and 40 red Pikmin, and luckily they should all be flower Pikmin. So, the first time we went to the Forest Navel, we started tearing down a particular wall, and thus today we are going to start out by finishing that job. There is a fiery blowhog right nearby, and I might defeat this one because we do need to get all of the other Pikmin types through this narrow passageway. So for the sake of not having too much grief from this enemy, I'm just gonna fight it straight up. When fighting a fiery blowhog, make sure it's not facing the water, because it does throw Pikmin away like that. So yeah, definitely make sure it's facing a wall, so they can't get thrown into the water. Other than that, we're just gonna have them work on this, and in the meantime, I am going to have the blue Pikmin, hopefully start carrying back a ship part. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky, because if I can set this up properly, it won't be too bad, but things can go wrong here. We need... wait. Okay, that is all the Pikmin. I thought the number said something like... wait, we are missing Pikmin. There they are. I thought the number said 58. This part is in the water. Also, we need to be very careful of even navigating to it because of how many fire enemies there are. So this frog enemy is known as a Wollywog. They basically launch into the air and then drop. If a Pikmin is under it, obviously it will be squashed. So what we want to do is actually lure the Wollywogs in specific ways. We want to lure this one kind of off to the side like this. It's the Anti-Dioxin filter. This fits over the rocket's exhaust ports and filters out all disease-causing agents from the ship's exhaust. That means I'll be able to move around without polluting the planet's atmosphere. I feel worlds better. We're gonna have the Pikmin move this, and in the meantime we're gonna have Olimar distract this Wollywog. Basically we're just gonna punch at it to keep it from targeting the Pikmin. Hopefully the Pikmin don't go under the Wollywog's jumping path. Luckily they steered clear of it. But there is another thing to be concerned about. All of the fire-breathing enemies. So once the part is safely on land, we are going to quickly call the Pikmin away from it, and then basically swap who's carrying it. So the wall is done. So what we're going to do is actually take the red Pikmin and have them carry back the Anti-Dioxin filter. Barely clip the water there, no big deal. By the way, Olimar can also take damage from fire, so be very careful. So yeah, we're gonna have them carry it back, and in the meantime, I am going to take the yellow Pikmin on a bit of a bombing run. I'm not sure why the yellow Pikmin ran under the bridge there. Again, their AI is slightly confusing at times. So next up, we are going to destroy what I find to be the scariest wall to destroy in the entire game, because it's really, really scary to deal with because of obstacle placement. They left a bomb in there for some reason. Sometimes the Pikmin do that, they just genuinely don't see it for some reason, so you have to kind of guide them towards it. To get to this particular wall, we have to navigate through a lot of nonsense. We have all of these enemies. These are Shearwigs and Sheargrubs. Shearwigs work the same way, including their glitchiness, but also have an additional attribute of being able to fly, meaning we can't defeat them with Olimar. The Pikmin like to veer directly above the fire jet when returning to Olimar. So this is the scariest wall to blow away, because it's very possible for them to catch on fire while you're trying to destroy it. That should be enough. Okay, one more. Again, this is very scary. It takes a certain amount of timing, but there we go. Anti-Dioxin filter. The laws of deep space require all ships to eliminate all pollutants. I have now recovered 15 out of 30 parts. If I can find just 14 more, I should be able to increase my ship's capabilities. So we're halfway there. So, that one Pikmin is a risk taker, I see. But yeah, you have to be really careful so they don't, like, run directly into the fire while returning. There are enemies on the other side of this wall, by the way, so be very careful as well, not to throw them too far, otherwise they might get picked off. So we've cleared the way to 2 more ship parts. So with that being taken care of, let's get 2 more that are relatively easy to get. I'm actually debating putting away the red Pikmin and then calling back 40 more red Pikmin just to get flowers. And we actually have to put away the yellow Pikmin so they drop the bombs, like so. The blue Pikmin are just chillin', so they shouldn't be in any danger. The number isn't decreasing at all, so we should be fine. Yes, these next 2 ship parts require a certain combination of different Pikmin types. That fiery blowhog was kind of glitchy in the distance. It was just continuously breathing fire. I have actually never seen it happen. I hope that's not going to be a problem. Yeah, I've never seen this happen before. That's slightly scary, because we have to, like, carefully sidestep it. There it goes. Yeah, that's weird. I wonder what caused that. Probably it saw the blue Pikmin, tried to breathe fire at it, and then just got stuck because we, like, looked away from it, like it was off screen, so its animation glitched. Alright, so here you want to zoom the camera vertically above us, and then basically push them into this wall. We are going to have the red Pikmin and the yellow Pikmin build this bridge. But with the blue Pikmin, we're gonna head a little bit deeper into this pathway. By the way, this is a bottomless pit. Do not throw Pikmin down here. So, over here is our second major ship part of the day, I found my analog computer. This computer conveys the kind of vague data that falls outside the range of 1s and 0s. Actually, to be honest, it's a little bit too vague, so it isn't very helpful. I keep trying to intro these ship parts with, like, it's the, and then I forget that the ship part description usually starts with, like, it's the, so it's very redundant. In any case, we do not want the blue Pikmin to carry this part, so we're gonna actually swap over to the reds shortly, but there's one more thing the blues can be used for over here. So we're just gonna finish this bridge for now, and hope for the best, because this ship part can be a little bit troublesome. So we are surrounded by a bottomless pit, and we have to basically carry a ship part down from an upper ledge to a lower ledge. We can't even see it at the moment. By the way, the cursor is really weird in terms of recentering the camera. It's basically whatever direction Olimar is facing is where the camera recenters, but sometimes moving the cursor will change Olimar's direction that he's looking, so sometimes it recenters to the cursor as well, and not Olimar's position necessarily, even though it's technically both. So over here is another geyser, and a yellow Pikmin got into this group. No harm done. We have plenty of time to get these last few ship parts. Yeah, these can be kind of time-consuming. They're very remote. Alright, so with the geyser set up, we are gonna kinda set these Pikmin over here so they stay out of the way. And we are going to take the yellow Pikmin. Now, This is like a companion ship part to the Sagittarius that we already got. And it can glitch. I've seen it happen. It has happened firsthand. It can basically bounce off of the second tier and fall over the ledge. And if that happens, you have to restart, because this is a required ship part. So yeah, if you lose it, you're kind of toast. I found my Libra. My daughter gave this to me. It's named after her astrological sign. My sweet little girl. I wonder what she's doing right at this moment. I have never seen it do that before. Like I said, it can bounce. I just didn't expect it would bounce quite like that. And that's why this part is really scary to get. Because you never know what direction it's gonna go. Yeah, that is a first. Yeah, the camera was being really weird because of the cursor. I'm trying to recenter it. So we only want to throw 20 Pikmin on it, because the analog computer takes 20 as well. I could swap out Pikmin, and there's actually a really easy way to do so. Over here is something called a candy pop bud, if I'm not mistaken. If you toss a yellow or blue Pikmin into this, they'll basically be transformed into a different color of Pikmin. So if you just want to, you could throw blue Pikmin in here, get red Pikmin, and then carry it back. But I like having a lot of blue Pikmin. Okay, that was really not great, that they just ran straight into the water when they dismissed. For some reason, they're having trouble jumping back onto this ledge. But yeah, the AI tends to be one of the biggest hindrances in Pikmin. Like, the game isn't even that difficult, but just the AI makes everything so much more complicated, it feels like. We're gonna try to sneak by without them grabbing onto the ship part. Oh, okay. And this is why I don't entirely like the swarming controls, because sometimes when holding down the D-pad, it'll basically, like, my finger will slip and I'll hit, like, a different button input, like switching the camera, like this, or just it'll not register, so, yeah, it can be really bad if it doesn't register while you're, you know, maneuvering over fire. So, luckily we were able to call all the Pikmin back, but that was very, very scary. So, with the remaining few minutes of our day, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. There are a couple options, such as fighting some enemies. Libra, my daughter gave this to me. My late return must have her very worried. I have now recovered 16 out of 30 parts. If I can find just 13 more, I should be able to increase my ship's capabilities. So yeah, we've basically cleared the way to the last two ship parts, but I do not have enough time to comfortably get these two fights done, because these are tied to boss battles. I might as well showcase this a little bit while we're waiting for the other part to come back to the ship. There's this big arena over here that has a very taunting enemy in it called the Beady Longlegs. Ow. That took out almost a fourth of our health. It is not an easy fight. I'll leave it at that for now. Over here is another enemy called the Puff Stool, which is also not an easy fight, but for very different reasons. This is one of the glitchiest enemies in the game, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Actually, that's a viable strategy. I should try that tomorrow. And then we also have to navigate this Wollywog, these Sheer Grubs, and Sheer Wigs, which are the flying variant. If we attack it enough, once it gets to about half health, it'll start flying and regenerating health. They're here, there are more of them. Sometimes, like right now, they've spawned in a pretty good spot where they're not too close, but oftentimes they'll be directly in the path. So yeah, there's a lot that can go wrong with the next two ship parts, which is why I want to spend a day just getting these two. Might as well take out a couple of the enemies I can. I actually don't know how close the ship part is I hope it gets back in time. I'm not really paying attention. If not, then we could just collect it tomorrow. It won't be too big of a deal. There it is. Analog computer. This strengthens the outward emotions of the dolphin's computer. While it doesn't make the computer smart, it also makes it quick to anger. It's just like my boss. I have now recovered 17 out of 30 parts. If I can find just 12 more, I should be able to increase my ship's capabilities. Foreshadowing. So yeah, final 10 seconds. That was really well timed. So yeah, the final 2 ship parts we'll be collecting tomorrow, and this is gonna be interesting, because a lot can go wrong. But yeah, 5 seconds left. By the way, it's worth noting, in this version at least you can skip the cutscenes of the day ending. I've been leaving the cutscenes in, but just saying it is possible. "7 days since impact. There are now only 13 parts I still need to retrieve. Will I be able to recover the remaining parts in 23 more days? Surely there are some parts that are not absolutely necessary. If my ship is not complete by day 30, the only way I will find out is to try to lift off." I just recalled the day I took my son for a ride in the spaceship. He was so happy. I shall tell him of this journey when I return. And I shall return. I must. I can already see the look of wonder on his precious face as I describe my adventures with the Pikmin. That dialogue is a lot more dramatic if you're collecting fewer parts in a day. 13 parts in 23 days actually doesn't sound that bad. But in any case, we got the 3 parts I was hoping for and paved the way for the last 2. So all in all, pretty good. Alright, so next time we'll be collecting the final 2 parts of the Forest Navel and finishing off this area. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin!